Hey everyone, and welcome. If you're getting ready for a Python technical interview, you are in exactly the right place. Today, we're going to build your ultimate cheat sheet, breaking down those essential code snippets you are almost guaranteed to run into. The goal here? To swap that interview anxiety for some real, earned confidence.
You know that feeling, right? You're staring at that blank screen, the timer's ticking away, the interviewer is just watching, and your brain just decides to go on vacation? Well, not anymore. Think of this as your personal toolkit, packed with the fundamental patterns you need to solve these problems, not just correctly, but with a little bit of style. So here's our game plan for today. We'll start with a quick kickstart to get us in the right headspace. Then, we'll dive into mastering numbers and strings. After that, we'll get into the incredible power of lists, and finally, we'll pull it all together to see how you can combine your skills.
All right, section 1, the interview kickstart. Before we even think about writing code, let's talk mindset. This is not about memorizing lines of code. It's about understanding the core logic so you can adapt and solve any problem they throw at you.
Okay, section 2, numbers and strings. Time to dive right in. We're starting with the absolute bedrock of pretty much any coding challenge, how to work with text and numbers. So, let's start with a total classic, a really common warm-up question. An interviewer might ask this just to see if you know some of the really cool, elegant features of Python. It might seem tricky, but the language has this beautiful built-in way to handle it. And the secret here is this awesome Python feature called extended slicing. Just think of those brackets with the 2 colons as having a spot for start, stop, and step. Well, if you make that step a -1, you're basically telling Python, hey, walk through this string backward 1 step at a time. And boom, you get a reversed copy. Instantly. And here it is in action. Now I know there's a bunch of code here, but just find snippet number 3 for me. See that one little line? String //1? That's it. No complicated loops, no temporary variables. It's clean, it's readable, and it's exactly what people mean when they talk about Pythonic code. All right, let's jump to another common task, counting characters. Now, what's really amazing here is how a tiny one-word change in your code can solve 2 completely different problems, like counting vowels versus counting consonants. Okay, let's break this down. Find snippet number 4 on the left for counting vowels. See how it loops through and checks if character in vowel. Simple enough. Now look right below it at snippet number 5. To count consonants, the code is almost a perfect copy, but we added one simple word, not. If character not in vowel, that single keyword flips the entire logic. That is the kind of slick efficiency you want to show off in an interview. Okay, on to section 3, the power of lists. We're going to level up now. We're moving from working with single strings to handling collections of data with lists, which are, honestly, one of the most important tools you have in Python. The Fibonacci sequence. This is a true classic. You see this one all the time in interviews and computer science classes. It might look a little intimidating at first, but the logic behind it is actually a really simple repeating pattern. So let's just break it down into 3 easy steps. First, you start your list with 0 and 1, because that's how it always begins. Second, you start a loop that runs for as many numbers as you need. And third, inside that loop, you just add the last 2 numbers in your list together and stick the result on the end. That's the whole pattern. And here's what that looks like as actual code. Go ahead and check out snippet number 7. You can see we start the list fib with 0 and 1. Then that loop just takes over, adding the last 2 items, fib -1 plus fib -2, and appending the sum over and over, building out that famous sequence. Now, here's a really cool thing about finding the biggest or the smallest number in a list. It's the exact same algorithm. Seriously, once you understand the pattern for finding the maximum value, you already know how to find the minimum. You just have to flip one little symbol. Okay, so take a look at snippet 8 for finding the max value. The game plan is simple. You just pretend the very first number in the list is the biggest one you've seen so far. Then you loop through the rest. Anytime you find a number that's bigger than your current max, it becomes the new max. You just do that till you hit the end of the list, and you're done. Okay, now shift your eyes to snippet number 9 for finding the minimum. Do you see it? It's practically a carbon copy of the last one. The logic is identical. The only, and I mean only, thing we changed was swapping that greater than sign for a less than sign. That's it. All right, final section. Time to put all these pieces together. Because in a real interview, you're rarely just doing one of these little tasks in isolation. You've got to combine these fundamental patterns to build a complete solution.
So a super common task is needing to combine two lists. Not just stick them together, but add them up piece by piece. Just like you see in this table, we want to add the first elements together, then the second, then the third, and create a brand new list with those sums.
And here is the code to make that happen. In snippet 12, the magic is that we're not looping through the items themselves, but through their positions, their index. That for I and range part gives us the number 0, 1, 2. We use that I to grab the element from both lists at the same spot, add them up, and append to our result.
Okay, so we've been breaking things apart. What about going the other way? How do you take a list, say a list of individual characters, and stitch them back together into one single solid string? Well, Python has this fantastic tool called the dot join method. Check it out in snippet 11. The key thing to remember here is that dot join is a method that belongs to the string you want to use as glue. In this case, we use an empty string, double quotes, as the glue, which tells Python to just smash all the elements of the list together with nothing in between. And just like that, look at the toolkit you've built. We've covered elegant string reversal with slicing, super efficient character counting, classic algorithms like Fibonacci, finding the min and max in a list, adding lists together, and turning lists back into strings. That's a powerful set of tools. But here's the most important takeaway of all. Please don't just memorize this stuff. You have to understand the why behind it. Why does -1 work? Why does the min and max logic start with the first element? Because that deep understanding is what's going to let you adapt and crush any problem they give you. So, there you have it. We've laid the foundation. These aren't just tricks to pass an interview. They are the real, fundamental building blocks of programming. So the only question left is, what are you going to build with them?